Welcome to this Entering Tax Information video, which is part of Course 2, Steps to Complete Your First Tax Return. My name is M.B. Raymundi. I am a CPA from Trumbull, Connecticut, longtime ProSeries user, and I guess a longtime instructor. I am very happy to be here with you today. In this video, you are going to learn how to enter tax information via the 1040. I'm going to show entering tax information in the 1040, but it really applies to all of our returns, not just the 1040. And as in many computer programs, there are a lot of ways to enter information in ProSeries. So that includes filling in the tax return. There are two main ways to enter information, using the Forms mode or the Quick Entry mode. There's a separate video showing how Quick Entry mode works, so here we're going to demo the Forms mode. Now, the first question you have to ask yourself is, how proficient are you? And be honest. So if you are proficient, you're an experienced user, you may just want to start out with the Form 1040 and go down the lines of the return to access the related forms and entry. So if I click on 1040, it brings me up my 1040. I've already filled in my federal information worksheet, which we covered in another video. And I simply can go down and say, if I have W-2 information, I know that it is entered in box 7. If you're not as proficient, there are guides to help you. So there are indexes, and I can see them either, I'm going to roll up my forms in use here. I can see those indexes here on my forms bar. I also can see them on the Open Forms window. You can just go down. I know I need to enter income, so it's probably in this income area, and then I choose which I want to enter. Now notice you also have a where do I enter, so if you're really not sure, you can click on where do I enter, and this where do I enter is in both the 1040 and the 1065 product, and type in what you know. So for example, I'm looking for that form. I can't remember what the form is on the claim for exemption of the custodial parent that releases it to the non-custodial parent. And notice as I type in, it gives me information. Am I looking for claim exemption 8332 or claiming executor form 1310? And then I can just double click on it and create that form and open it up. Pretty cool how that works. Now from the 1040, you can access other forms and worksheets. One of the things that you need to understand is the types of data fields, and in the user guide, you can search types of data fields because the color of the data and the field itself and the box around the field is going to give you a clue as to where that data comes from. Now, when I'm looking on line 7 on the 1040 is a calculated field, and you actually have to quick zoom in order to fill in the W-2 worksheets. Now look what happens when I click on line 10. It's an enterable field. It's in white. I can actually enter in it, but it also has a quick zoom. So if we know the refund that has to be included, we could either type it in here, or we can quick zoom and take a look at the 1099-G sheet to figure out how much of the refund, or let ProSeries figure out how much of the refund has to be included in income. Now, if you see a calculated field, you really don't want to override it because it can cause other calculations to be incorrect. When you quick zoom, you may get different results. So, for example, when I quick zoom on line 7, it brings me up a box for different W-2 worksheets, and each W-2 has its own worksheet. When I quick zoom on line 8A, it actually brings me to the Schedule B and brings me to the Interest Income Smart worksheet, and there's also a Dividends Income Smart worksheet where I am really filling it in more like a spreadsheet. If I go back to my 1040 and look on my Schedule C, it's similar to the W-2 where there would be a separate Schedule C for each different business that my client has. Now, I will tell you that if you have forms that relate to another form, it's easiest to link to them from the form itself. I know that's a little bit confusing, but here's what I mean. If I know that I have to enter depreciation that is related to my Schedule C, I may want to enter that information right here from the Schedule C itself. So I'm going to start the Schedule C, and I am going to go down and find where I enter the assets. So to enter assets except for autos and home office, I can quick zoom to my asset entry worksheet, because what that will do is automatically link it to the Schedule C. If I went to the asset entry worksheet from my open forms window, let me display the form number. And I created a new copy, it would ask me which form it wants to be linked with. So you can see if I try and quick zoom from the form that it's going to be linked to, it just makes it a little bit easier for me. Let's go back to our Form 1040 and look at a couple other links. If I quick zoom related to my Schedule D, it brings me to Capital Gains and Losses Smart Worksheet, and where you enter each transaction. And we have a separate video talks about other maybe more efficient ways to enter information on a Schedule D, and that's using that quick entry mode. Line 17 is on Schedule E, and it asks me which Schedule E worksheet do I want to open up, and I can have multiple copies. So this is a rental property. If I have a separate rental property, I'm going to create a new copy and enter the street address for that property. So the idea that we're talking about here in entering tax information, if you choose to do it this way, is that you will basically go down the 1040, click on the enterable line, find the appropriate form or worksheet to enter the information. And when you're done, your tax return also may be done. But you definitely are going to want to do the final review, which is covered in one of the other videos. You have now learned to enter tax information via the Form 1040. I thank you for watching this video. I hope you have found it helpful. And be sure to access additional videos not only in this course, but the other courses that are offered out in the ProSeries website to help you learn how to use ProSeries more efficiently.